You might know him from Meta and virtual reality, but before that, Mark Zuckerberg founded the Facebook. And today we're going to look at the original pitch deck from 2004 that ultimately helped him create the biggest social media event of all time.
Did he steal this pitch deck from those two brothers?
Probably. I watched the movie. I'm an expert. So let's check out slide 2. All right, actually, that's a very well organized. See, how do we feel about this? Telling us without page numbers.
This looks like he got this off a template and then stuck the Facebook in the top right.
And then just check marked user engagement because that's really strong. Okay. The Stanford Daily. Classes are being skipped. Work is ignored. Students are spending hours in front of the computer in upper fascination. The Facebook craze. I like the idea of a quote to start, right? Like, oh, this is hyped. I think the whole purpose of this is there's hype. Well, what is hyped? Tell us what's hyped. Ah, look, and I haven't even seen this deck before. What is the Facebook.com? Let's make some commentary here. This is as simple as it can be. Blue on white. Blue and white.
Same color blue.
The same colors they used for Facebook.
They've not pivoted their blue.
Decades.
But they certainly have pivoted the whole entire business and use of the platform has pivoted.
Yeah, it's become a Monopoly Man style business. But, you know, I like how simple this is. I like how clean it is. They're really relying on the content of what they're saying, not the style of it. So we have an online directory that connects students, alumni, faculty, and staff through social networks at colleges and universities. It's crazy to think that something that started off as helping college students
That's
connect.
so simple. It's just a directory for a campus.
Yes.
And it turns into the social media craze, which has taken over the universe of humans.
This is so niche down, too. They know what they are. The Facebook knows what it is, and it's fitting the need for a very specific group of people. Okay, I know what you are. Thank you. We have an example of a user profile. This is wonderful. This is something you can do whether or not you have a startup. Like if you're trying to raise money to build a website or build an app, sometimes you feel like you're in this chicken and egg problem. Can anyone build this sketch, this diagram, this example homepage?
Yes, in about 2 hours on Saturday morning with 2 or 3 cups of coffee, you can have a pitch deck and then decide if you want to pursue it, right? Kind of like vet your own believability of your own pitch.
We look at hundreds, if not thousands, of decks a year. By the way, go ahead and check out CodeLaunch.com if you have an idea and you want your idea to become reality for free. How much equity does CodeLaunch take?
0.0000000%.
Round that off. So not only is CodeLaunch free, but you can apply in a couple of hours and maybe even get your entire website or app built. Also, the average CodeLaunch founder, after becoming a finalist, we looked up that numbers, over 600,000.
660K of the ones that do raise, their average is 660K after CodeLaunch.
Check that out. That's enough of our shameless plug. I would recommend, if you're a non-technical person but you have a good idea, I would recommend to recreate this slide. Go find 5 companies that you like their design that are kind of doing something similar and just pull out a pen and paper and literally copy their design. Don't try to reinvent the wheel unless you have UX experience, unless you have some type of really good product background. Just take a company that's already put millions of dollars into user experience. Copy the nuts and the bolts. Later, after you've raised money, after you've done version 1, you can start to differentiate.
I think it's clear Zuckerberg did not have a master skill in UI UX at this point.
No. In fact, I feel like they borrowed a lot from MySpace, actually.
Yeah.
If you look at the original,
it's a little MySpacey.
It's very MySpacey.
Who's that dude on there, by the way?
No idea.
That's probably Kevin Bacon.
Could be. Okay. Additionally, the Facebook.com automatically adds to each user profile links to school news articles that refer to the user, the last user away message. I think they missed this one. Like, it's funny that the features that you think are really going to carry you might end up being complete waste of time, and then just one little piece of functionality, like instant messaging, that you didn't really focus on, can carry the entire company. All right, we're on the social networking
Whoa,
slide.
now we're coining a phrase.
I think they invented, it's got to be close to them or MySpace. Because MySpace, I feel like they kind of invented it. They definitely modernized it. Intra-school networking. The Facebook.com user can browse their school's social network through the following mediums: SocialNet, course Roasters.
SocialNet displays 10 random people from the user school.
So I think I was on Facebook in 2006. I think that's when I would have got on it. I feel like junior year of high school is when I remember getting on it. And none of this was on there. So by the time it had migrated from just the elite colleges to all the colleges to now high school students were faking and getting on. I can't remember if I used a fake email address or not to get on, actually. But
I like how the fine print mentions features which end up being huge, massive part of the value of Facebook. The friendship list on your profile. I mean, that is incredible.
There was a time when I was in college where literally you could tell how cool people were by their number of Facebook friends. It was like, oh, you only have 100 Facebook friends? I don't want to be Facebook friends with you. Oh, you have 4,000? Can I be your friend? That was a real thing that my young alcohol-addled brain was definitely focused on.
I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you how we kind of did the same thing in college.
Let's hear it.
Because it's so long ago.
Okay.
It was a printed thing. It had a nickname that I can't use in this video, but it essentially was a guide to the school fraternity and sorority system.
Oh, okay.
And they would dump a pile on our doorstep twice a semester. Everybody would grab one and keep it. And it was a way to find out who the person was that someone wanted to set you up with a blind date on.
Okay. So this is more for dating.
Well, yeah, but it was social networking at a very primitive print scale.
Okay. Intra-school networking. Each user can also browse the social network of other schools through the global search function. I don't think they ended up doing this. I mean, okay, they did this, but they didn't do this. People ended up networking from school to school, but not because that was the purpose. It was for parties. It was maybe, and you know what's interesting? As dominant as Facebook is, I feel like it's crazy they never really became a competitor to LinkedIn. Like they never really entered that professional services territory. I'm not saying there's not Facebook groups and Facebook business, but when you look at the percentage of users which is on Facebook, which is it's ubiquitous, it's 100%. I can never remember doing a serious job thing on Facebook. Can you?
No.
Did they ever get any penetration there?
And what's weird about LinkedIn is that before Microsoft acquired it in 2014 or something, it was so lagging behind everything. And it existed far before. It existed around the same time MySpace existed.
Yeah.
And it was worthless. And it seemed like people kept trying to make it work for business networking. But it was just so ugly and hard to use and even more full of spam than it currently is, which is plentiful.
I think it also goes back to perception, right? Even if you add that functionality, Facebook definitely invested heavily into dating and it also didn't really pick up. If your users perceive you as being good at one thing, it's going to be hard to convince them that you're good. It's hard for you to be the frat house website and also the serious business website. I don't know if I want to network with my employer on the same site that has pictures of me playing beer pong and there's writing on my forehead, right? At least with LinkedIn, there can be a clear separation. I'm wearing a tie. I would never drink. Our schools, the expansion. The Facebook was launched at Harvard.
The Facebook.
Now, this is a strategy you can copy. Start elite. It doesn't have to be Harvard elite, but we looked at Uber. By the way, guys, go ahead and check out the Uber video that we already did. We reviewed Uber's pick check. Uber started with Uber Black, luxury cars first. They handled the high end, created a sense of exclusivity, and then started to make the product work with the masses after they reached critical mass. So, yeah.
And I say you leverage some kind of elite brand like Harvard by going to Harvard, for example, and pushing the launch website button while you're standing on their campus.
Yep.
Then it's factually true forever that you started yourthefacebook.com at Harvard.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Ivy League. We've got a launch date. Okay, so this is the dates that they launched. So from February to April, they launched pretty much the entire Ivy League. I don't know if there's other schools in the Dartmouth. Yeah.
That's about right.
Cornell. Yeah, that looks like the Ivy League.
I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah. Other schools. Non-Ivy League schools. Okay. I'd be like, okay. So if this was happening in real time and they showed me this, I'd be like, okay, well, which schools have you already done? Are these done? Is this in the past? That's going to give me a lot of credibility for these next ones if these are later. The expansion plan. Expand to include most of the schools in the United States. By September 1st, we'll have more than 200 member schools. Man, I can't even imagine being there at like school 30 and being an investor and someone pitches this to you. The amount of hype, that's goosebumps.
Yeah, I'd be excited to use it the first time it dropped on my school. And can you imagine like the buzz it would create? Hey, Facebook launches today at Oklahoma.
Yeah. 15 million college students, that's a rotating number. Estimated purchasing power exceeds 85 billion. Okay. The year they will spend 21 billion on restaurants and food, 9 billion on automobiles, 5 billion on clothing. Large market. I get a check mark. I'm not really convinced of anything here, but it looks valid.
Yeah.
Students. Oh, wow. That's impressive. So they've got 70,000 students with about 40,000 of those students being Ivy League. That has value in and of itself. They have faculty. I don't know if that's even good.
Yeah. Like right away, this became the platform for people to kind of have some fun on.
Almost completely down the line, half men, half women, slight edge to women. And that also, I would expect to see a slight edge to women because there were slightly more women in colleges at that time.
Look at this wonderful keg stand icon. Mm-hmm. That is official. That's the official icon of CodeLaunch from this point forward.
I'm also, is that a bathroom stall? What is the first,
Yes.
What are the sitting down?
I don't know why women don't have feet.
It's very confusing.
That is the most confusing thing.
Gets the people going. All right, site usage, daily unique users, 65%. Wow, that is a crazy number. 65% of Facebook's 70,000 users used it every day. That is nuts. Daily traffic and page views, 3 million on 70,000. Just doing a little bit of math in my head, that means that the average person was using it about 6 to 8 times a day. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's the definition of viral. This is going viral, is what I could have said at the top of that slide. But going viral wasn't even a phrase back then yet either.
This is off of several handfuls of colleges too. Like they were able to create this level of traffic in a limited number of colleges. The Daily Pennsylvanian, I have a new addiction. It's powerful. It's disturbing. It's the Facebook. I like how they've slipped to just like the British are coming quotes.
They bookended it.
Yeah. Growth rate of the total number of users is increasing with the addition of 10,000 Facebook members in the first week. Wow, so they have 70,000 users, but they added 10,000 in a week.
We're going like this.
Starting
at the beginning, it's implying that we're way zoomed in, and when we zoom out, it's gonna really go. Boy, they were right.
What lesson is there a lesson that we could, because I feel like this is like we're reviewing like Holly Berry swimsuit model, and it's like this is the elite of the elite. What can regular startups, what can regular founders pull out of this? I think if there's something I'm going to say, it's the most impressive number here is not the 10,000 users, because we live in an age of bots and paid traffic. It's the daily active users for me. Showing that the people you do have use it. And I love the idea that they launched in a limited market, like small number of colleges, small number of cities. Look at how well we're doing here in this limited market. And now the story is we can expand. So how can that lesson apply to you? If you've got a moving startup, don't launch in every city. Pick a city and dominate that city, have really good demographics in that city, and then pitch me how you're going to be able to multiply that times 50 cities or times 100 cities. I think that's the lesson.
Yeah, I think the lesson is similar to that. It's that investors are looking for traction.
Yeah.
And the last two slides have made it black and white clear. This thing has grotesque traction.
Grotesque.
And you better get on board or you're going to miss the rocket ship to outer space.
Yep.
So go get yourself some traction any way you can.
Online marketing services. So it feels almost like they slapped two decks together. This is like a partnership or advertisers deck. I get that they make money through advertising.
This is how we're going to monetize, right?
Yeah. It's not really written in terms of investors, but we get it. Targeted ads, that all makes sense. Now, that's another thing. Facebook allowed a level of data mining and a level of targeted advertising that just did not exist at that time. Facebook and Google kind of patented the idea of, I'm losing my hair. They sell me hair baldness stuff. Am I bald yet? No. Am I balding? Yes. Did they know before me? Somehow. Did some facial scan on my maternal grandmother, and they were like, send this guy some balding cream. Banner ad rates will vary, yeah. And this was prescient. Yeah. Contact us. Eduardo Sovereign, I'll bet he did well. If you're interested in our online marketing services, please contact us via email. We'll help expose. All right, let's give this a rating. One more quote to bookend it. Okay, so we're gonna give this a rating. You know what? It's not the best deck in terms of like layout and presentation, but it's the best story that we've looked at. And the timing of this, like we looked at Uber kind of before Uber was sexy, where their deck took place. And I feel like enough things have already happened with Facebook at the time this deck was created. That
you mean the Facebook?
The Facebook. Enough things have happened with the Facebook. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Because if I was reading this, you know, even trying to calculate for knowing what I know now, that growth rate, that daily usage rate, the fact that they're Ivy League, there's just so much to love about this.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 in one particular category, which is serendipity. So these people saw this little part of what they were creating and were like, this is amazing, look at this. And they didn't know they'd bumped into this.
Yeah. Right place,
and it was
right time.
totally inadvertent. You can tell by the message. This is supposed to be a platform for collegiate community social networking.
That should excite you.
I'm going to give them a 6 out of 5 on serendipity. And then based on the fact that on the first slide they left in the like table of contents, which looked super like template-y, I'm going to take a notch off for that. I'm going to give it a 4.9.
Imagine someone.
Sorry, Zuck.
Imagine someone opening the deck and going, I'm not even going to read this. They didn't even fix their table of contents.
If you disagree with me, Zuck, I hereby challenge you to a UFC fight in here in the CodeLaunch studio.
You heard it here first.
Live.
That's probably going to happen. All right,
or
guys.
at the CodeLaunch stage in Minneapolis next.
Don't forget to send us your decks if you want us to review your startup. And other than that, we'll see you on CodeLaunch.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe.